Welcome to Booming Your Bottom Line. With over 76 million boomers in the U.S. and 10,000 of them turning 65 every day, these older consumers will reach almost 20% of the U.S. population by the year 2030. Cities across the nation are not ready for this. They simply don't have the structure in place to support the aging boomers. There's not enough of nearly everything that they're going to need. Home remodeling and maintenance, financial services, legal services, occupational and physical therapy, doctors, transportation, delivery, you name it. So what are you going to do about it? Are you going to step up, be part of the solution, and profit from it? If so, you're going to have to learn how to reach them, how to talk to them, and how to structure your business so it better meets their needs. I'm Mark Hager, and along with my co-host Aaron Murphy, we're going to teach you how to grow your business, help more people, and realize the income of your dreams. So let's get to this week's topic.
Hi, and welcome to episode 38 of Booming Your Bottom Line, titled Making Mom Laugh Makes Major Money. I'm Aaron Murphy, and with me, as always every week, is my co-host, Mark Hager. Good morning, Mark.
Hey, Aaron. How are you today?
I'm great.
Excellent. Well, I'm really excited about our conversation today. This is a great subject and very pertinent to our listeners. Before we get into it, real quickly, I'd like to mention our upcoming training session for remodelers. It's all about how to get more high-profit remodeling projects with the best boomer clients so you can earn more income without more stress or talking customers into a sale. And if you attend this free training, I guarantee you'll walk away with an entirely new perspective on your business and how to go about making more money. Now, it's happening Tuesday, September 8th, and we're going to try to publish this episode a little bit early to make sure that if you haven't registered, you get the chance to. And if that time hasn't passed, you still have time to register. Just go to bybllive.com/class5 to register. So let's just get to the point of today's topic. And what we mean by saying making mom laugh makes major money is this. When you can grow and perfect your skill set around, 1, breaking the ice, and 2, relaxing the client or buyer, and 3, finding commonality that you can relate to on the fly with your potential clients and customers so you can quickly gain trust, rapport, and create that comfortable climate for casual yet serious conversations about their lives, their wants, their needs, and fears, then you're going to be insanely successful at what you do. And that's it. Until then, you won't. It's that simple, at least on the surface.
Yep, it is, on the surface, like you said. But of course, if it was that simple, we'd all be doing it, always, correctly, all the time. We'd all be successful. We'd be meeting our income dreams. You know, it's not that simple when you really dig into it, the why and the how of it all. But that's why we're here, is to help you learn what your competition is not and beat them to the punch. Be first to market with the right way to reach, talk to, build relationships with, and gain the trust and rapport of the boomer consumer and their families and caregivers.
That's a good point, Aaron. We do want our clients to have an advantage and help them gain access into this inner circle of wealth and opportunity that's the boomer consumer, in their own area of influence. So this isn't as easy to teach in a podcast format as it would be in one of our coaching programs. So why don't you give us an example that could help bring this concept to life for our listeners so we can all wrap our heads around it?
Okay, yeah, of course, Mark. I'm always happy to give personal examples of what's working for, me or you or anybody in our business, and sometimes even what's not working. It's okay to open the kimono, so to speak. So my best and most recent example of this is a situation where my architecture firm was contacted by a gentleman that was about 60 years old, and actually his wife had heard me speak at a Rotary Club about 18 months before that on aging in place. Now, you can look at our other podcasts about speaking your way to local expertise. That alone, a perfect example of why we preach that in our training, but I'll digress. So I met with the 60-year-old gentleman on the site of his mother's house. She, at age 90, and her husband, now deceased, had purchased the duplex in the 70s and remodeled it to a single-family residence after it served as a rental property for years. I met him and was introduced to her at the front door. Of course, she politely offered me something to drink, which I accepted cordially, and also accepted a seat at her dining room table with them both. I gave her a copy of my trifold brochure, tucked it into my book, set it on the dining room table, and said, "Thank you so much for inviting me into your home." And then I asked her a few questions, and I listened.
Oh, good for you. That is so critical. You have to be quiet. The sale is in the other person talking, not you. That advice alone could net thousands of dollars per month, if you're having trouble closing with your clients. There's a great quote I just read this week on LinkedIn, which I'd heard it before, but this story brings it to mind, and that is, never miss a good chance to shut up. And that was by Will Rogers. It sounds like you did that part right.
Yep, it's not always easy, but you're right. It's absolutely critical that you do. So she went on, she shared her history personally and, the history and relationship to the house, kind of told her story and allowed her son to chime in on the conversation they'd been having more recently and how they reached a point as a family where she was willing to accept having somebody, me, come into their house and make some recommendations on how she could stay there and live there safer and longer in her own home. With some ideas and recommendations, I was able to provide for modifications to the bathroom, hallways, lighting, color materials, and some handrail places at certain stairs she's using regularly to go out on the back deck, into the office, and into the garage. So,
that sounds like a successful visit and consultation.
yeah.
But at what point did you make her laugh? And actually, how did that turn into making you money?
Right. Yeah. The title of our podcast.
Yeah.
Well, what happened is about 30 minutes into that consultation, her other son showed up as well. Now, this son I was well aware of in my community, but I've never had the chance to meet him before. Mrs. Watson, the 90-year-old, has another son who showed up at the house to hear what we were talking about. He's one of the top 5 employers in my county. Okay. His office furniture business and his manufacturing facility, very well known. So the older of the 2 sons at 65 years old has a multi-million-dollar business that provides office furniture worldwide for companies like Microsoft and Amazon, just to give you a few names that you'll recognize. The man's a millionaire. He's here in his mom's house, standing right next to me. But here in her house, he knows his role. He's a son, and he's concerned about his mother. He's interested in the advice being given about how his mom can stay home longer and more safely moving forward. I had to read the situation, right? The dynamic between both sons and their mother, the relationship with each other as brothers, watching the banter, and finally, how they were relating and responding to their interactions with me. I had to trust my gut, which you have to learn to do too.
Oh, yeah.
In the conversation up until this point. And at the appropriate time, in that latter third of the conversation, I said to the mother, "Well, my dear, I can tell you've raised a couple of great young men here who really love and care for you." And she chuckled and she said, "Well, I think they fake it pretty well." Both sons laughed out loud, and the younger one said, "It's all smoke and mirrors over here." And we all kind of had a big, deep belly laugh, standing in a circle in her living room. Bingo. I had nailed the connection and solidified trust and rapport that I needed to continue that conversation. And I was able to take it from there and get into the recommendations about what mom really needed to do to her house to continue living there independently. So the goal there at the end of that conversation was to say, hey, here's how we can all sleep better at night. The caretakers, children, and mom. Perfect, right? Now we can talk about grab bars, the zero threshold shower, the flip down seat, the colors and materials in her bathroom. They decorated with way too much yellow in the 70s, so not enough contrast between vertical and horizontal surfaces. Anyway, many more ideas and solutions they could implement in phase 1 here, which, again, sometimes people will start with the Band-Aid stuff, and that's okay, right?
Yep.
But it was phase 1, meaning not needing to change wall locations for now. There will be a phase 2. They will come back to me. They will become a loyal and a repeat client, and probably a referral. So as a result, you asked about making money. I made $500 in 2 hours with a site visit and a summary letter with recommendation. That's pretty worthwhile, I think. I don't know too many listeners here that are making $250 an hour.
Yeah.
But Just as importantly, Mark, I made a connection with the millionaire son and business owner, right? On my way out the door, he mentioned he'll be in touch because their business is expanding and they're going to need additional space, which will require commercial building design and permit drawings.
All right.
Whoa. Okay, so by making mom laugh, I connected with a caregiver that could quite likely land me a separate project at my architecture firm worth $50,000 or more in architectural fees. So keep having the conversations with people. Keep talking about what you're doing for a living. Keep making connections. Keep sharing the message, the passion, and the vision for what you do and the value you bring to the world and your community. As you can see, you never know how it can pay off, and it can be big time.
Absolutely. That's perfectly said. And a great example, and you're right. We do want to keep sharing that type of insight and information for our listeners. And, we can teach this in much more depth than a coaching program. But in this format, that's a perfect way to share the power behind making connections and, personally engaging with our clients, being patient enough and caring enough, letting that empathy come through to have careful conversations with the people that we serve, because it's delicate at times. And especially in that example you just gave, that could have turned out totally differently, had you not approached it the way that you did, had a feel for the situation when you walked in, being able to listen intently, hearing the truths hiding, inside of their words and, peeling back the onion, so to say, to find out, the information that's real. That's typically several levels deep. So, it takes practice and patience and persistence, and it's a skill that you can learn. You just have to apply it to get better at it. We can teach you how, breaking the ice and making, clients and customers feel heard so that you can get past those initial gloves up, that gatekeeper mentality that, I'm being sold to, and really get into their comfort zone where they can discuss with you what they're really wanting, their dreams and fears and wants and the real concerns. And this goes for both parents and their caretakers, because it's only then that you can get down to the brass tacks of the matter, and know, and this is what we talked about in either last week's or the week's before podcast, know that you're the expert. You were brought on site to give your advice, your insight, your recommendations. And by approaching it this way, this helps you know that you're going to actually be heard and that trust and rapport, is in place. That's not in the way anymore. And, that's really some powerful stuff. I appreciate you sharing that. I really do, because that is just a really, really good example of how to engage, the people that you're working with.
Yeah, thanks.
Now, before we get out of here today, I know we're already encroaching on time. I just want to mention again our training for remodelers. Like I said, it's Tuesday, September 8th at 4 p.m. Go to bybllive.com/class5 to register. And like I said, if that time hasn't passed, make sure you do that, because it is going to be amazing. I promise you, your life can change just by listening to this training. And since we're talking about things that can help you get unstuck, what if you were able to relate what you do to aging boomers in a way that compelled them to step forward and say, hey, raise my hand, I want to be your customer, to connect with you and your business, then desire to be your customer. You see, aligning yourself with the results they want can translate to hundreds of thousands of dollars in additional sales each year for the next 20 or 30 years. This is the way to win your own hopes and dreams. And we're here to help you do that.
Yes, we are. Look, if you aren't happy with your income, if you're ready to say yes to growing your company, yes to stepping up, having a massive impact in your community and your personal life, and you can give me a resounding yes, the idea of earning thousands of dollars more every month for the next 2 or 3 decades, I want to invite you to consider a different choice for yourself. Just go to bybllive.com/ready. Fill that form out completely and honestly. It's a little mirror time between you and your business. Mm-hmm. We'll review it. If it feels like we're a good fit, we'll get back to you within 24 hours and set up a strategy call with you.
Right. And during that strategy call, we'll do a deep dive into your situation and your business. We'll be able to help you see more clearly the areas that need your focus and advise you on some things that might work better for you in your business. And we'll give you some real and actionable ideas and insight. And if at the end of the call we feel like, we're a good fit and to work together, then we'll invite you to join the Booming Your Bottom Line for Small Business program. And if we're not both convinced it's a good fit, then you'll still have all the insights and ideas that we gave you for your business for free. I mean, really, it's a win-win either way. So anyway, we thank you so much for listening today. If you would, please share this episode on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, and help us reach even more owners like yourself that are doing good work in their communities helping their older customers. And until next time, be well, be bold, and boom your bottom line.
Have a great week, everybody.